gaming world, titles are represented by two separate, yet equally important traits. The gameplay, which can range from amazing to jank, and the box art, a stylized preview of the game yet to be played, but looks can be deceiving. These are the box art deceptions.
A street racing game with weapons and a huge variety of cars to drive while defending your neighborhood. 187 Ride or Die was released on PS2 and Xbox in 2005, developed and published by Ubisoft. It was developed by Virtuos on PSP in 2006. It's a game that feels like Mario Kart and GTA had a kid, racing while finding power-ups to take down the competition, but in a dark, gritty setting. It earned a 52 on PS2 and a 51 on Xbox, with the rare positive review loving the graphics and controls. But to only rent it for a weekend for some mindless fun before moving on. Negative reviews called the storyline horrifically trite, a big troll to gangster culture, and gangster, street, and shite. The front cover has a lot going on. People in a car speeding around while firing weapons at an unseen target. The car is a little bashed up from previous engagements, the driver focusing on the road, and these two just taking care of business. This chick seems very calm for someone standing behind a rocket launcher while it's being fired. The title is stamped on the top left, not quite the center of attention, but enough to be seen, with white lettering on a dark background. This stencil of who I imagine is the boss is pretty prominent next to the title, with stylized smoke rising from his not really seen cigar. On the back, we're told to drive, blast, and rule. Okay, sounds like an easy enough list to tick off. They took over your neighborhood. They shot your mentor. Now it's time for you to take up their challenge and ride or die in a fierce street racing war. Do they get points for using the title in the blurb? The thumbnails are action-packed and show off cinematic angles that may or may not be seen in the gameplay. We have 30 cars to pick from, 14 black market weapons, different modes to play, like story, cops chase, and escort, and we can even play co-op with one player as a driver and the other as a gunner. This sounds awesome! The game also stars these people, but I have no idea who they are. Sorry. Ooh, and a soundtrack by Gorilla Black! Must be good if they put it in all caps. Overall, this looks like those missions in San Andreas where you're racing and shooting rivals, except that's all this game is. One theme for the entire game should mean it's done well, right? Right? With obvious influences from the Fast and Furious movies, we play as Buck, a voiceless character who works for a notorious B.A.D ripoff.
Understand this. For 20 years, I done held it down. I fought off the Barrios, the Vatos, and the Rolling Twenties. I tried to protect the community. I lost a lot of street soldiers in this shit. We have some unfinished business. I'm not about to lose my fucking neighborhood. That bastard Cortez and his fucking crew gonna pay for putting 9 slugs in me.
And is tasked with racing rivals and claiming back the neighborhood. Standard stuff, very early 2000s. I thought I was hearing things during the first cutscene, but turns out Buck does have a voice and uses it selectively to comment on things quietly, as if no one can hear him.
We've been expecting you.
Damn, baby girl body is banging.
We're then thrown into video tutorials with a ridiculous narration.
Alright, player, let's kick this in high gear. To accelerate big dog style, this is how you do the dizzle, ya heard? For switching lanes and skidding around corners, check this out, G-Rider. To brake so those fools can't shoot at you, this is what you gotta do, gangsta. For boost game, this is what you gotta do, big baller. Peep this, then you can get gully with it, player. To blast away from those fools, check this out, then hold on tight, player. To shoot forward, keep your arm steady and let loose, then booyah! For shooting backwards so you can blast those busters trying to creep up on you, this is how it's done, killer. To switch weapons so you can keep it gangster, peep this, homie. To drop weapons, this is how OGs do it, y'all heard? To steal a weapon, violently ram one of those busters' cars, you heard? This is the power up to get weapons so you can spit fire at them fools. So you can get crunk with it. Hell yeah. This is the life power up so you can keep smoking those fake gangsters. Now you've been trained, gangster. It's time to lock, load, and push the pedal. Let's do the thing.
Our first mission is displayed as a text card, with acting that I can't decide if it's overdone or just how people speak.
Buck, listen here, homie. Cortez crew is lining up in the hood to race. Finish first and flip these fools' wigs back. Don't let me down. Holla back.
Forget about picking a car, we're given this one and thrown into a race. I hope you were paying attention during those unskippable tutorial videos. The first thing that bugged me, aside from being completely overwhelmed by all the controls I had to remember, was the amount of criticism being thrown at me. It felt like every few seconds someone was yelling at me to do better, or stop being so terrible. It was truly motivating, let me tell you.
Come on, I thought you knew how to drive. Damn, baby, what you doing? Keep your eyes on the road.
The tracks are pretty straightforward, but the multitasking is crazy. We have to focus on the track, keep an eye out for rivals, pick up weapons and power-ups, try to destroy the rivals, not damage the car too much, avoid normal traffic, find shortcuts, and still get first place. I was exhausted after playing one track. If we fail to get first, we get yelled at and told to try again. Just do better and get good.
Damn, this is my favorite whip.
Call that G-Rod? No, fool. You ain't repping these streets. You can't move on to any hood riding like that. Try that shit again.
The music, though very excitedly proclaimed on the back of the box, was monotonous and made me a little drowsy.
Yeah, you about to get your wig, but baby, don't fuck this whip up. Hurry up, come on, let's get back.
It didn't really give me high-paced hood racing vibes, and was the only thing about this game that was relaxing. After the first race, we finally get to the car selection screen, of which there is one car. We get our aggressive mission brief, which is pretty much the same as the first one.
Buck, the word is on the street, Cortez's punk-ass crew is lining up to race in the hood. You know what to do. Blast your heat and keep your foot on the pedal and finish first. I'm counting on you, gangster.
Then we're thrown onto a new track. That looks identical to the first. We still have to keep an eye on everything, and we still get yelled at randomly.
Damn, this is my favorite whip.
Well, the cars were fast, and the gameplay made me furious. Ouch! That pretty much sums up this game. We're told to play a 2-player game alone, and if we messed up a little, we get yelled at. Imagine if this was in Mario Kart and Toad was constantly telling you to drive better or stop crying because you're using the trash knockoff 2nd-player controller and just suck it up. I had to look in the mirror and repeat some positive affirmations after playing 187 Ride or Die, because the yelling started to get to me. Sometimes there are games that go under the radar for unknown reasons, and we find little hidden gems. Then there's games like this, where we wish time and effort hadn't been spent on it. Ubisoft.
Nobody fucking with me in these streets.
If you loved San Andreas, but you always felt like you should have been given more things to do, like focus on reading a takeaway menu, while explaining the offside rule to your 3-year-old cousin who you've been tasked to babysit and is currently drawing on the walls, then you might love 187 Ride or Die. If, like most other people, you prefer your games to not give you existential dread, maybe skip this one.
My boy Buck! That's how G-Rider gangsters get down and dirty with it. Listen, homie, the world is yours. Select the next hood you want to blaze in. You heard?
This was fun. Let's do it again sometime. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below.